chatting, everybody? Boy Big Brando, and today let's talk about a few mistakes to avoid whenever you're launching your clothing brand. Now, these are just common mistakes that we all go through. All of us go through the same exact thing. So I'm making this video in hopes to help some people not fall for these traps or make these same exact mistakes. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I'm seeing a lot of this in the comments right now, and I've been responding back to a lot of the people that have this same exact comment, but it's getting a little overwhelming, so I said might as well make a video about it. And the comment I'm talking about is, yo Brando, in 2 weeks I'm launching my clothing brand. All I'm waiting for is my heat press to come in next week. This right here is a tough one because I understand everybody is excited to get your press in and get to that money. 100%. I get it. I fell in this same exact trap before too. But please do not get ahead of yourself. Please remember to do your due diligence and test out your equipment, test out your transfers, test out your vinyl before releasing it to the public. Now, I know it might sound way easy to watch somebody like myself on YouTube say, this is what you press these transfers at. This is what you press this vinyl at. This is how you set up your heat press. This is how you fold your shirts and ship them out. But what you have to remember is I did my due diligence of testing out the transfers. Wash test, pressing at different settings to find out what works best for myself and my press, how the t-shirt holds up in the wash. So I know personally what the customer will see at the end of the day and what they're gonna receive on their end. And on top of that, how that t-shirt's gonna last and hold up after the customer washes it, after the customer dries it. This is something that takes a little while. I understand a lot of people are not gonna do this, and I understand a lot of people are gonna ignore this part of the video. Ah, shut the fuck up, Brando. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm getting my press in. I already did my research. When my press comes in, I'm putting these products out. I'm getting to the money. Cool. What I'm trying to help you do is avoid any customer complaints. What I'm trying to do is help you out and let you know that these are things that you need to do as a business owner, brand owner, whatever it is. These are a few steps that you have to do to make sure that you are 100% confident in the product that you're shipping off to a customer. Because a few negative reviews, a few negative comments can cripple your business. You would hate for a customer to come back and be like, I bought a t-shirt from this guy, I washed it once, the whole print peeled off. And the first thing you're gonna do is blame the transfer or blame the vinyl. Nobody ever blames themselves. Nobody ever blames the operator. Peeling, cracking, all of that stuff happens from operator error because some people don't put in the work to test the shit out to find out what the best settings for them is. And I get it. Nobody likes to hear it. Also, nobody likes to put in this type of work. But in order to feel 1000% confident behind your product, wouldn't you want to know how it's going to hold up in the wash? Wouldn't you want to know what your customers are receiving? Wouldn't you want to know that your customers are 1000% happy and satisfied with the product they bought from you so they can return to your online store and continue to shop with you? Put in that work. Test all your shit out. Make sure you know how to lay it down. Make sure you know what it's gonna do after it's been machine washed and machine dried. Keep testing until you receive the results that you want. And I know this sounds like a lot of work, but this is the part of the game that a lot of people don't talk about. This is a part of the game that nobody makes videos about because it's not the glamorous part of the business, right? Making money is the flashy part of the business. Putting in this work to understand what you're offering your customers, it's not the fancy part of the business. It's just the regular work that you got to put in. So if nobody's talking about it, please let me talk about it to save you from the embarrassment and from the headaches. Now, on top of all that, testing out your transfers, testing out your t-shirts, testing out your vinyl, huge part of the game. The other part, marketing. Now, you probably feel comfortable with who you're going to be selling to. You're probably thinking, all right, you know what? I'm going to get all my equipment in. I'm going to start putting this stuff out. I'm going to put it on social media. Sales are going to start rolling in. There's a little bit more to it. Understanding who you're going to sell to first is a big part of it. Understanding the end user, understanding your target audience. I say this all the time. Some people are a little confused. Some people think it's not a big deal, but it's a huge deal. These are the people that are going to be buying from you. So understanding them, what they're into, what they're not into, what social media platforms are they most active on, what their interests are, what their dislikes are. Stuff like that is only beneficial to you as the business owner, as the brand owner. If your target audience does not like a certain thing, maybe a certain color, certain saying, certain font. Wouldn't you want to avoid putting out any products that have these things that your target audience dislikes? This is the research that you have to do. How do you find this information out? Search through their social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. If you see your target audience talking about a certain subject on Twitter, stay away from the stuff that they don't like, because they're putting it out there for you to read. They're giving you the clues, the hints of what they like, what they don't like. This is the research part of the game that nobody wants to talk about. Nobody likes doing this. Nobody thinks it's needed. I do this kind of shit because I like making the sale easier on myself. So that way, when I'm sitting down designing, I can design to that specific audience to make sure it hits everything that they're into and it stays away from everything that they're not into, to make the sale easier on myself. See what I'm saying? Once again, this is the part of the game that nobody talks about. This is the part of the game that people think isn't really needed because it's not the glamorous part of pressing a shirt, shipping it out. In order to get to that point of pressing the shirt and shipping it out and people shopping with you, you got to do a little bit of research to figure out who you're selling to. So when you're thinking in a week I'm going to get my heat press, in 2 weeks I'm going to launch my brand, who is that brand made for? Who are you going to target? How are you planning on getting your products into those people's faces? How are they going to see your product? How are they going to be excited about your product? Why would they take a chance on you, a new brand, a new business, and spend their hard-earned money on your t-shirt? These are the things that you need to ask yourself, and then you need to answer those questions, and then have backup answers to those same questions, and then have backups to the backups to the backups. That way, when you launch your brand, you're setting yourself up for a successful launch. There's nothing more humbling than launching your brand and you watching your Shopify, Big Cartel, whatever online store platform you're using, to see no sales coming in after the first day, after the second day. Third day, you get one sale and it's like from your mom, or maybe it's from your cousin that lives in another state that's just supporting you. There is nothing more humbling than that feeling, and we've all been through that. And the way that I minimize that exact feeling isn't from my YouTube following, it's not from my popularity and none of that. It's from doing the research before I launch anything to know that I'm making designs and products for a specific audience to help the launch be as successful as possible. So remember, if you're waiting for your equipment to come in, if that's the missing piece to the puzzle and you're like, all right, you know what, once I get all my stuff in, I'm going balls to the walls, dropping all my merch, launching the brand, websites going live, all of that stuff. Before you get overly excited and overwhelmed on what's about to happen, sit back and really think about who you're designing for, who you're going to be selling to, who needs to be wearing your clothes, how are you going to get your products into their faces. On top of that, make sure you test out everything that you're going to offer. The t-shirts you plan on using, the transfers you plan on using, the vinyl you plan on using, whatever you're using, sublimation, DTG, DTF, DT, whatever, all of that stuff, you have to test it out for yourself. And I'm not just saying press one, you wear it, it looks good. Right after you press something, it always looks good. I'm talking about after it's washed, after it's been worn, after it's been washed and dried again and again and again. So that way you know what your customer's gonna get. That way you can make the adjustments to your settings right then and there before you offer it to your customers. You see what I'm saying? Catch it early on before you release it to the customers. That way when you release it to the customers, you're releasing something that you are 1000% confident in. All right, I hope this video helps some people out. Pretty sure it's gonna get a lot of people mad, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna ignore a lot of the shit I talked about in this video. But if you're planning a launch, let's plan for a successful launch. Like I said, we want money in the bank. In order to get that money in the bank, you gotta put in the work for yourself. All right, if you want to keep that conversation rolling, make sure you leave it in the comments. Follow me on Instagram, Big Brando TV. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.